Since it's Christmas Eve?
Yeah, that way we could open it and play with it and then, hopefully tire us out a little bit.
I don't know, Robert. I think it'd be all right if they open one present each.
Middle of the winter, I pull up in a vert. It's the middle of December, she pulled up in a skirt. Santa Claus of the hood, I pull up with the work. They call me East Atlanta Santa, run up on me, get murked. I'm just trapping through the snow, selling 9 heifer bricks and 4 waves. Over the hills we go, got an extendo and an 8. I'm a neighborhood philanthropist, I'm selling bills.
Me and the boys off. Some guy attacked him.
It could be a warning.
Is there something you're not telling me?
So what do you think of the veal?
I was in prison for a long, long time. So everything tastes good to me.
There he is, the general.
You got any intel?
He gets his weed from the Indians, some cowboy runs the bar, and the black kid drives him around. It's like the fucking Village People.
Did you kill Carson Pike? I could arrest you right now.
He's not gonna be controllable.
What's going on, YouTube? We're back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Nimes YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we are back with another TV show review, and we got Tulsa King, episode 7, Warr Acres review. Going into this one, we pretty much got the aftermath of Dwight and Mitch pretty much shooting old buddy down as far as the biker who had came and shooting out their windows or whatever. Of course, they shot him down, and now they burying him. Their whole thing is now they're going to try to send a message to Warr Tripp as far as the biker gang leader and his crew, letting them know, like, yo, we ain't goddamn going nowhere. This is what it is, whatever. And you know Dwight is already on demon time, and Mitch is right there with him, so it is what it's going to be. But I'm really interested to see how Warr Tripp is going to be react to that, especially seeing them gun him down or whatever. Because I don't know if it was a tactic of them trying to scare them off or whatever, but I mean, Warr Tripp, like, you knew who Dwight was, right? You got the little info on him as far as him being this mob guy or whatever. What made him think that he was going to get scared or scrawled off because of some little gunshots? Anyway, man, excuse me. Outside of this, we do have Pete and Chucky. Pete is pretty much talking to the doctor and getting some good information as far as his health, telling him about things that he's going to have to do in the meantime to keep himself together. My whole thing with this is looking at Chucky and kind of his reactions to these certain things, because I feel like Chucky is still feeling some type of way after that whole conversation about Dwight and the whole thing that happened with Nico and what Dwight did to him, even with him doing what he did to the other dude as far as breaking his jaw. Chucky has been feeling some type of way as far as feeling like Dwight has been able to walk on water, like he can't be touched, and he's able to do these things he's been doing. With that being said, not only that, it's the fact that the way Pete talked to Chucky, as far as the disrespect, I mean, pretty much letting him know, like, nigga, you ain't shit. Dwight, if you was half the man Dwight was, nigga, this shit wouldn't even went down. Like I said in the previous review and previous episode, Chucky is pretty much feeling like he's being belittled. Especially with the fight that Dwight's been home and doing what he's been wanting to do pretty much. I think this is going to cause an obstacle between these two. In the way Pete is constantly talking to him like he's a little kid or whatever. Not only that though, you got to remember, and I was wondering, I wonder if Pete going to find out as far as what Chucky did to Tina's husband, as far as Dwight's daughter's husband, as far as beating his ass the way he did or whatever, and he wasn't supposed to touch none of them or whatever, especially Dwight's daughter. She ends up calling Dwight though, and she lets him know what happened, and immediately Dwight is already on it, like, okay, this got to have something to do with this whole situation with what I did with Nico and the whole thing with him killing him. And once again, he pretty much knows Pete probably not going to retaliate or anything but Chucky, as far as Pete's son. He on a whole different time. In the midst of that though, we do get Goody coming to town because, you know, one of the mob guys was coming out to Tulsa to try to settle things down because of the whole situation with Dwight, Nico, and Chucky, and what Nico had did to Dwight's daughter. But not only that, he's going out there on the behalf of Pete, because Pete wants Goody to see what Dwight has going on in Tulsa. How is he running things? How is he moving or whatever? And that's really kind of one of the main reasons he's going out here. To his surprise, though, once he show up, of course, he sees Ahmad. Ahmad, of course, got history with Dwight and the mob guys in New York or whatever. And, you know, he left a long time ago the way he explained it to Dwight. And, of course, he's surprised as far as Goody, not knowing he was out here. And he tells him, man, I've been staying out here since I left New York or whatever. Not only that, he starts to notice the ring on Tyson's finger. And I forgot Dwight did give him that. And I think there's some type of connection with Pete or something like that as far as that ring or whatever. But we're going to get to it. Outside of that, though, it's just Goody kind of filling everything out, seeing how Dwight is moving as far as this little crew that he has put together, whatever. And I love Ahmad, man, because Ahmad is like, nigga, you know I gotta pat you down or whatever. And once you get in the car, I'm gonna sit behind you just to make sure you don't try and once again, Ahmad is the same guy that was trying to shoot at Dwight, but now he got him on his side. You got to remember, Ahmad was a part of the mob, so he knows these type of moves, he knows these type of tactics, so he already on guard and on point. And that's one of the reasons why he's still one of my favorite characters being brought on to Dwight's crew. Outside of that, though, Warr, the motorcycle gang leader, and his crew, they end up getting this box that Dwight and Mitch had sent over as far as pertaining the coat from the guy that they had shot or whatever. Once again, Warr don't know where this guy is, and Roxy don't know it yet as far as the girlfriend who was the informant for the ATF. So once this box shows up, everybody pretty much finds out that he is dead, and they get what's going on now. So I'm really interested to see how Warr is going to react to this, because I don't know if he knew it was going to try to go this far. But I'm like, y'all pretty much have been threatening each other, and even at that meeting that they had, Dwight let him know, like, nigga, I'm not going nowhere. I mean, you do what you're going to do. I'm here. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to move forward with this, because I think his whole thing was trying to, once again, to scare them as far as when he sent him over there to shoot the windows out or whatever. But I'm like, you knew this was a mobster guy. What do you think was going to happen as far as that retaliation? Of course, after this situation, Roxy is flipping out. She is like erratic, man. She don't know what's going to happen now, being that the dude that she was dating as far as the biker guy is dead now. So now it's like, what does she do next? She ends up calling Stacy, the ATF agent, and she lets her know what happened. The guy's dead or whatever. So now Stacy is like, okay, I still need you to do something for me. And this ain't got nothing to do with Dwight. She still is trying to get Warr. So she pretty much is asking Stacy what's type of things that she could get to or get her hands on close enough to get back to her, some type of evidence or whatever. And Roxy tells her Warr be working on some type of laptop or whatever. So Stacy asks her, can she get this laptop? Bad idea. You are talking to a woman that's already pretty much panicking. She done just lost her guy or whatever. And on top of that, she's an informant. So she already kind of scared going back and forth, doing what she's doing, moonlighting or whatever, knowing what type of guy this is as far as this motorcycle gang leader, Warr or whatever. So she's scared, rightfully so. But with this all being said, Stacy still sends her in, and she's pretty much trying to do this last thing, I think, to completely get out, especially since the guy that she was going with is dead. Outside of that, though, we got our guy Goody, the mobster that came into Oklahoma to meet up with Dwight. He ends up getting to Dwight, and immediately Dwight is on his ass like, yo, did your guy Chucky send somebody out here to mess up my daughter's husband? And he's like, he don't know nothing. Of course, we all know it was Chucky, but nobody outside of the mobsters don't know that, though, including Pete, as far as Chucky's daddy. So Dwight believes him. He pretty much lets it go, and they pretty much start going into everything Dwight has going on out here. Once again, this is Goody really trying to get information to see how Dwight is moving in Oklahoma, to see just how good he's actually doing, or if he's doing good at all. And he pretty much finds out, yeah, Dwight is doing his thing. He holding his own. Got a bar, got the whole weed shop thing going on. I mean, he's got a lot of different things going on, got his hands in the different pots, and got a lot of moving parts going on out here in Oklahoma with the short time that he's been out here, even forming this whole crew together. One of the main things, though, because of course after Goody pretty much goes to meet Dwight, he goes back and calls Pete and Chucky and lets them know everything that's going on out there or whatever. One of the main things with Goody, though, outside of that, and of course he does ask Pete, did you all have anything to do with Dwight's daughter's husband getting beat up? Of course Chucky denies and said no. The main thing, though, is them pretty much saying they don't feel like Dwight is going to be too much controllable too much longer as far as being able to control him, which I feel like y'all ain't been controlling him in the first place, especially since he been home. I mean, he done committed one murder inside of the mob, and he slapped he broke another man's jaw that was a maid, man. I mean, what haven't he been doing that he didn't want to do as far as Dwight? But yeah, that's pretty much what he's telling Pete and letting him know, like, yo, he's really out here moving maybe even better than he was when he was in New York. But yeah, so I was curious because Pete looked like he didn't like that. He looked like he was upset, but I think more so than anything because they still want some sense of control over Dwight and some sense of him seeming like he's going to need them, because if he gets set up the way he's trying to get set up, maybe he won't need them as far as the mob or whatever. And as far as Pete now. Outside of that, though, Stacy and Dwight, they have a conversation because, of course, Stacy done found out about the guy being killed, and she trying to find out, did Dwight do it? Dwight like, nigga, I ain't got to answer you. He just like, fuck it, man. What do you want from me? Like, what do you want? Like, you already know how this going down. You know what's up. And Stacey whole thing is that she's feeling like she likes him. She really, really likes him. And her whole thing is now she's calling the obstacle because she know what type of guy he is. And she like, do I need to bust this Negro, or do I need to try to keep everything away from him as far as not keep getting him busted and keep this focus on Wall Trip as far as the motorcycle dude that she's going after. But that's going to be hard with certain murders starting to happen now, and these shootouts and this certain violence is starting to come into play as far as Oklahoma. So yeah, she's pretty much at a crossroads trying to figure out what is she going to do with Dwight, and not only that, the fact that she's an ATF agent and she knows what's kind of going on. But outside of that, Dwight's daughter, Tina, she's starting to still get these phone calls. Of course, it's got to be Chucky who's doing this, and the way he's feeling about this situation or whatever not being handled the way he feel like it should be handled, especially with Dwight. So she's pretty much still being harassed with these phone calls, and I'm pretty much thinking it's going to lead to her going to Oklahoma, because once she made this phone call, which I forgot to mention at the beginning when he talked to her about her husband being beat up or whatever, Dwight did invite her and her family to come out and stay with him. I don't know how much that's going to help, being that he got this little situation going on with this motorcycle crew, so you could be still bringing her into a messed up situation. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a good idea, Dwight. But yeah, she's dealing with that. Roxy, my girl Roxy, she's trying to go in and pretty much steal this laptop for Stacey and get it back to her. Of course, once again, I knew this wasn't going to work, and Wall Trip does end up sneaking in on her and catching her. Man, this is a good tense scene because I knew he was going to do something. I just didn't know what he was going to do. With everything that was going on, Roxy having a big ass blade knife there, I'm like, is he going to stab her ass up? Is he going to cut her neck or something? I don't know. But it was just the route and the way he was going around her and the way he was talking to her. I was like, what's going to happen? What is he going to do? Because she was already crying and panicking because she knew how crazy he was, and he knew she was going to end up doing something. But his whole thing is asking her, what's up? Why are you in here? What are you doing? Which I'm pretty much sure he done figured it out. But she does end up letting him know what's going on. She let him know she got arrested about 6 months ago. And pretty much without saying any more, he knows that she's working with the cops. Without saying too much more, he pretty much strangled her. Because the whole thing is like, you ain't going to stab me. You're like, nah, I ain't going to stab you. But he ends up strangling her. And it's a pretty brutal scene. It is. It's a strong scene, man. But Roxy, she wasn't particularly one of my favorite characters, but still though, I've been waiting to see this guy in action, and we see it. Wall Trip, Roxy, she's out of here. But Stacey ends up calling Roxy's phone, and this is when Wall Trip answers, and she pretty much gives an indication of what happened to Roxy. And him pretty much saying it without saying it, that yeah, she's gone, and I know she was an informant. So now this is Stacey pretty much trying to figure out what she's going to do dealing with Wall Trip. Now she knows that Roxy is pretty much dead. Outside of this, we got my man Bodie and Dwight. Bodie pretty much cleaning up the shop after the raid, and he ends up pulling out like this chip thing or something that goes into a laptop. And I was curious about that because I was like, have you been keeping records of everything that's been going on between him and Dwight? Is he about to turn or something? Or is he got his own thing going on where he's trying to keep himself safe out of the situation, whatever? I wasn't sure. But we do end up finding out what he has going on. He is doing something with cryptocurrency. He's pretty much stealing other people's cryptocurrency as far as the way I think he explained it. Because Dwight is trying to come in with this little plan as far as the casino. Because he has the money that Bodie had, because when he gave him back the bags, he only gave him back the product. He didn't give him back the money because he got this little plan that he's trying to put into motion. But Bodie ends up letting him know maybe we can go this different route. So Bodie been kind of having his own little criminal thing going on too, outside of before even Dwight, I think, showed up in Oklahoma. So it's going to be interesting to see where they try to move with this being the way I feel like cryptocurrency is currently being talked about. What is it, Bitcoin and all that? Because the white whole thing with it is like, nigga, I can't touch it. It's not real to me, so I don't want to deal with it. I need to deal with the real thing. But the way Bodie is telling him, like, yo, I think we can go this route, because it's not necessarily them using their own money, because Bodie, like he said, he's stealing it. But outside of that, we get a pretty really good scene with Chucky as far as Pete's son. And I ain't been liking him. Like I said, I feel like he been an ass off here. Like he been kind of been stubborn. He basically been Little Romeo, the Master P situation these days. I'm just messing. But we actually get a really, really good scene with Chucky. And it's him going into the whole thing with him actually not wanting to be in the mob. He didn't want to be a part of the mob. He actually wanted to go into the army. And it's a lot of other things he wanted to do. He had degrees. He had a whole college fund. And he goes into a thing where he goes about his father as far as Pete. Pete took his college fund. Pete took his degrees. And it makes you think about Pete as much like, no, you the real asshole, Pete. It ain't Chucky. You turned Chucky into this. No, you that real asshole. And Pete is the real bad guy this. But it was a really good scene, man, and it made me think of like, damn, Chucky ain't that bad of a guy. It's just the circumstances he had to deal with and being brought up the way he's brought up, especially with a father like Pete, because he took this preacher note like, yo, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to be a part of this. I had other plans. So that was a really good scene, man, but it also lets you know how much more envy he has towards Pete, especially the way he talked about Dwight and the fact that he didn't even want this. Another thing we get into is Tina, Dwight's daughter. She's pretty much trying to talk to her husband about moving to Oklahoma. But her husband like, no, nigga, I ain't trying to do that. I mean, you told me all these years about your father, this and the third, and now you want to move out here with him, doing the type of person he is? Nah, I'm good on that. And understandably, I mean, yeah, being everything he done seen and heard or whatever, and Tina pretty much agrees with him. But I feel like this is going to be trouble. I'm not sure if the husband going to end up dying or something else going to end up happening to Tina, and maybe even their kids, because Chucky, well, we're going to get to it. Chucky is on demon time right now, and he going through a lot. Speaking of my guy Chucky, he pretty much is having a conversation with his father, or they both having a conversation, and his father starts to somewhat go into things that he dealt with his father, kind of similar things that Chucky is feeling about him. And Pete, as far as going into the things with him, is that his father wanted him to be a carpenter, but Pete, of course, wanted to be a mobster. He wanted to do what he was doing, and it kind of have Chucky feeling like, so why you didn't want something for me, or why can't I have my own choices in what I wanted to do? And then Pete started going in, talking about he being a crybaby, stop all that bitching and whining or whatever. And that shit pretty much sends Chucky over the edge. Like, he's tired of it. He's tired of being belittled. He's tired of Pete talking to him like he's a little kid. And he drowns Pete. I seen this coming because throughout this episode, though, you seen kind of that build up. And even before this episode and that previous episode, you seen that build up. But yeah, man, I seen this coming because even kind of, I say midpoint through maybe episode 4 and 5, I was like, it's going to get to a point where, because I was thinking about Pete's health, and I was thinking he was going to end up dying because of his health, and that's where Chucky's going to come in and take over, and then that's where Dwight's going to have a problem, because now when Chucky in charge, he can do whatever you want to do, and people are going to have to take his orders, not Pete's. But dealing with this situation, I didn't know they was going to go this route. There's a little twist for me as far as Chucky killing him, but once we got to this point and they built this scene up, I seen it coming. I did at this moment, because I had seen how much Chucky had been through, especially after that conversation that Chucky had with the preacher about him wanting to do other things and not even being a mob. Boy. Another reason I'm glad we got to this is because we finally get my man going back to being bald, because this is my guy Herc off The Warr, if y'all don't know. But yeah, that wig, man, because even after he choked his daddy out or drowned him, man, it's like he went in the bathroom and was like, damn, this wig is kind of jacked up. Let me fix this. Because I thought he was about to just pull it off. And I was like, oh, so they going to be on some Lex Luthor shit. So this ain't never been no real hair. Nah. And I was like, that ain't a good scene, the way they had him fixing his hair, because he looked like he was actually fixing his wig. But yeah, man, Pete, he's pretty much, you can see this leading to him being in charge or whatever, but you have to understand too, is other families out here, as far as mob families, that he's more than likely going to have to get okays from to make this kind of play, being that Dwight is still a made guy. So that's going to be interesting, man. But you can see that he's getting in this full Godfather mode, being that he is the guy now since his father's gone. In the midst of this, though, we got my man Dwight out here on a date. The lady that owns the horse ranch or whatever, he comes up to Dwight and asks him out on a date. And you could tell the way Dwight has kind of been looking at her that he been feeling her too anyway. Outside of the things he has going on with Stacy, the ATF agent, he been definitely wanting this. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go with this, because she is like kind of seeming like she want that gangster type Negro. Because she asked him about like, have you ever killed somebody, this and the third. Because she kind of can get a sense of who he is or whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see them two moving forward. On the other end, is she an undercover cop? Maybe she asking a little too many questions. Do she got a secret of her own? I'm just saying though, because it can be something like that coming in between this. You never know. But it's going to be interesting to see them two moving forward. Outside of that though, like I said, the thing with Chucky and him pretty much being in charge, it's going to be a lot going on moving forward in episode 8. In the midst of this though, Goody, he was supposed to be leaving, but he does stay behind a little bit longer, and he actually lets Dwight know that Pete has died from a heart attack. And you can kind of see it's a little bit of emotion there with Dwight. Once again, this is the guy he came up with as far as the mob or whatever. This is the people, one of the main guys he went to jail for and that he stood down for as far as those 25 years. This was his brother or whatever. And you even hear Pete, when he was taking up for Dwight, talking to his son, the way he would come in and talk about Dwight, like, that's still your godfather. That's like my brother or whatever. So you can kind of see the effect this is going to have on Dwight, but in another tone, I think Dwight is starting to think too, like, okay, does this mean now I'm going to have to deal with Chucky? Because he already know Chucky don't really like him like that as far as Pete's son. So I think he was actually thinking about that too, especially with his daughter and them being down there, and now he knowing that they're going to be in the crosshairs as far as Chucky's wrath or whatever. So definitely going to be interesting to see how they move forward with this situation with Dwight, and the fact that not only is he going to be dealing with the motorcycle gang as far as Wall Trip, but now he's got to deal with Chucky and what he has coming at him. Because Chucky is pretty much is going to come after him. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to come after Dwight now that he's in control and he doesn't have to answer to his father. But yeah, man, this was another good episode. I'm definitely enjoying this. Is it going to be 10 episodes? I think it is. So we got like 3 episodes left, so it's going to be interesting leading up to this season finale. But if y'all have been checking out Tulsa King, let me know how y'all feel about this recent episode as far as episode 7, Warr Acres. Let me know how y'all feeling. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Make sure you come through and check us out on Uncut Ish Talk every Friday, 9 p.m. Shout out to everybody who's been coming through, checking out the content. I appreciate it. Thank you. Other than that, we out.
Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to